Hey, what's up? I'm Brian from Spectrefly Gaming, and on this channel, we do previews, reviews, and discussions of your favorite games. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. So on today's video, I plan on doing something different, a little fun, a little change of pace for you guys. I plan on doing a review of my list that I'll be playing for some of the system opens and regionals coming up here in the next few months. There's been a lot of regionals going on. The meta is in complete shift and it's healthy, and I love how there's a different list all the time. Now, Fantasy Flight's been pretty quick on doing changes to the FAQ and rebalancing, and I think they're doing a really swell job at that. So what I have here, and you'll see here in a better view in a second, is what I plan on taking, and I feel like it's the best. Okay, it might not be the best list to fly. I don't know if it's that. But I think it probably is the best iteration of these three ships that you could get. I've done a lot of flying and testing of these ships and done a lot of swaps. So I feel like what I have here is the best list of what these three ships could be. So let's check it out. Okay, so this is my current list that I am looking at playing for the regional season in 2018. For the ships and pilots, we have the ARC 170 with Norra Wexley. We have the T-70 X-Wing with Poe Dameron, pilot skill 9. And we have AP-5 in the Sheathipede-class Shuttle. Now, to kind of give you a little back history of what I wanted to play here originally was I was playing Norra Wexley, Jess Pava, and Lorik as my main squadron, and I really enjoyed Norra's ability. She can hit like a truck, and Jess Pava was a good value ship, and Lorik is just a very, very good ship as well. So it was a value rebel list. When the regional season started getting the full swing, though, we started seeing a dominance in the new Alpha class Star Wing shuttles being flown, the gunboats with harpoon missiles. And that other list I had could not stand an Alpha Strike very well. Jess Pava was just too low of pilot skill. Lorik, while could take a beating, didn't have enough offensive power. And Norra was slow and not very maneuverable. Now, the key part of that list, though, was that Norra Wexley had expertise, R2-D2, and C-3PO, and Alliance Overhaul. So we're not going to go into details yet of what my current list has. But what was great about the expertise list is you didn't really have to do anything other than just target locking every round. You didn't ever have to focus. You just target locked. You were planning on always just using expertise and blowing your target lock, and you do a lot of damage. Unfortunately, that list does not play well against stress. So we had to make some changes. So what this current list I have is it's basically geared at fighting some of the boogeymen at the meta, but also having enough punch in its ships to withstand many of the fringe lists out there. And it's been doing fairly well with this current iteration. So what we have is Norra Wexley. Let's go from left to right here. So we have Norra Wexley over here. And on Norra, let's kind of zoom in for you guys. Focus that up. We have Alliance Overhaul. That's almost given on any ship. R2-D2. Now, a lot of people will say that Poe Dameron is the current R2-D2 ship. Maybe I like BB-8 right now because you need to be able to break target locks, and that's the best way for Poe Dameron to use his Block 1 title to break target locks. We've got R2-D2 on Norra to make her our late game house, kind of akin to how people are playing Miranda with regenerating their shields. We replaced C-3PO with Rey, and the basic idea with this list is when you're playing it, you have to kind of slow roll, go as slow as you can, maybe even starting your ships along the board edge to fly with the board edge to build up some Rey tokens, because you want to have a good bank on the Rey before you get into your engagements. That way you can abuse, say, vector thrusters and target locks without having to always focus. But with this list, we do have push the limit. So we do have the ability on Norra to take multiple actions a turn. In fact, we're going to skip Poe, and we're going to swing over here to AP5, and let's talk about AP5. So originally, in my first build of this list, AP5 was Fen Rao. And you'll be told by a lot of people that Fen Rao is the meta-defining ship for the Sheathipede, and he might be the guy that you should fly. But to get everything that you need in this list, you don't have the points to field a good Fen Rao, really any kind of Fen Rao. Luckily, AP5 comes at 15 points, and he's so cheap. And so what we use for AP5 is the coordinate function almost 90% of the time. Sometimes I've taken a focus, sometimes I've taken a target lock, depending on the situation. But generally, you're coordinating. And when you have Norra, who's got push the limit, you could say you plan to do a green maneuver because Norra's dials, she wants to go slow, and most of her slow maneuvers are green. So you can coordinate onto Norra, have her take her focus, vector thrusters to do a reposition, and then after she does her maneuver, does a coordinate or does her target lock. She can do all three actions using push the limit in AP5. What I also like is that let's say we use Norra. Normally I do this on Norra. We use Norra and we push the limit the second time. Maybe we used AV5 to coordinate to her, but we didn't really want to reposition yet because we didn't know where the opponents were and no one was in target lock range. So we're going to push the limit on our movement after we're doing our action to reposition and get a good target lock. Now, normally with any other coordinate shuttle, we wouldn't be able to do anything. But AP5's specific ability says that we could take the stress off of Norra, who's just done her push the limit. This is the next turn, obviously, so that we can still coordinate and still get value out of AP5, while he will get double stressed from that. Now, originally, to run with this, I ran Inspiring Recruit, which is right here. I ran Inspiring Recruit in place of Jan Ors. So this is Inspiring Recruit. Let's see if we can get a focus on that. Probably not. We wanted to try to see if we can do Inspiring Recruit to pull off both stresses and use R2 Astromech to basically make all of AP5's moves that we want to do green. Now it makes all speed 1 and 2 maneuvers green. Generally on AP5, I'm doing a 2 bank or 2 hard maneuver, and having that be green is really, really nice. Now Jan Ors was kind of like an addition that we put on here to be able to enable us to give both Poe Dameron and Norra Wexley evades when needed. So let's say, for example, on Poe, let's talk about Poe's build first, and then we'll talk about that. The most important part about Poe's build is that we have advanced optics. Now, this lets us keep focus tokens on Poe, and it basically works with perfect synergy with his main ability of being able to turn focuses into evades or hits. Now, you don't have to spend the focus. That's what's so great about it. So you'll be banking that advanced optics focus for quite a while. That basically leaves you with just target lock and boost as your movable actions. That's all you're going to be able to do. This AP5 with Jan Ors, though, allows you to take a second focus action if you need to for an evade. Now, talking about Poe, this is my current list. This is a 99-point list. The main thing that we have on here is we have Veteran Instincts. This will bring up his pilot skill value by 2. I have considered the idea of somehow fitting Push the Limit in on Poe. Right now the list is at 99 points, so we're still a little short on points to see if we can get Push the Limit on Poe. But there's been many times where you just want to be able to take a target lock and a boost action on the same turn, and you just can't because you're only getting one action a turn on Poe. Unless you use Sheathipede to help with one of those. And then Norra Wexley is not quite getting her value as much as she potentially could. But, I mean, you could still do it that way. There's still plenty of options. What I changed on Poe for my original list to make room for Fen was Autothrusters, was integrated Astromech. I found in my testing that you just have to have Autothrusters. With so many turret-based ships still being prevalent in the meta, you cannot give them free potential damage. So Autothrusters was a needed change. So this is my current list. So let's do a quick rundown one more time. We've got Norra Wexley with Alliance Overhaul, Vector Thrusters for the reposition, R2-D2 for our regen, and Ray for banking focuses to go in coordination with her main ability and push the limit so that we can take multiple actions on a turn. We have Poe Dameron over here. Poe Dameron has the Black 1 title. That's needed for any kind of target locking meta, which right now is all about target locks. In fact, that's why I think the Deadeye is probably the best version of the new class, or the Alpha Class Starwing builds, but we'll talk about that later. Advanced Optics, BB-8 for the droid, so we can do a free barrel roll to break more locks, Autothrusters, and then Veteran Instincts. And then on Fenrau, we've got, or not Fenrau, AP5, we've got R2 Astromech and Janors. This list comes in at 99. I will be flying this in Portland first, and then directly after that, we've got the Bellevue, Seattle regionals. So I will be flying these there. Based on my results for those two events, that will change my opinion if I will continue flying this, and hopefully I'll be able to do some vlogs for you guys, or some sort of tournament report to kind of tell you how it goes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this short little video. If you like it and you want to see more deck techs or deck reviews, let me know. Send a message. If you guys want me to kind of talk about one of your lists or do a small review of your list, why don't you send me one and I'll take a look at it. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.